I was only 11 years old. I grew up in what most people would consider to be a broken home. People think that my home is broken because it's only me and my dad, but there was never a mom in the picture for me. I love my dad, but growing up, I always wanted to feel like I belonged to a real family, one that people wouldn't look at as broken. My entire life changed when I watched a movie that made me realize I could have the family I always dreamed of. Even though everybody else looked down at my broken family as being lower class, I finally found a goal, a dream, a way to make my family whole and make people finally proud of me. That movie was called Black Hawk Down. Soldiers fighting side by side to beat bad guys. The soldiers really were a family, and nobody ever got left behind. They became real brothers and sisters out there. People are proud of our soldiers, and from that moment on, I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life. People thought it was sort of strange that I wanted to be a soldier, and that I liked the idea of guns and fighting bad guys, but I knew I wanted to be part of that real family. I guess I was always a little bit of a tomboy. I guess a lot of people always misunderstood me from the beginning, except for Sydney. She was my best friend, my only true friend. Sydney had the perfect parents. Nobody ever told her that her family was broken. Sydney even had a babysitter, Danny, to hang out with when her parents were busy at work. Danny never liked me from the beginning, though, either. She just didn't understand why I didn't want to paint my nails and do crafts like other girls should do. Sydney's parents never understood me either. They would let me come over, but they wouldn't let me play with the video games I liked. I never understood why, because the boys in my class got to play those same shooter games, but when I tried, I was weird. Sydney liked to play video games with me too, but she also liked to put on makeup, and her favorite color was pink. I guess that's why her parents and Danny always thought she was the perfect child. Sydney was my best friend, but part of me always worried that she would start to look at me the same way everybody else did. I told Sydney about the movie I had watched, and she thought it sounded like a great idea. We had always considered ourselves sisters, but we knew that by joining the military when we were older, we could make it official. That's why we liked playing military games together so much. We would use fake guns and run around the yard pretending to shoot the bad guys. Sometimes we would even play shooter video games. But when they got too easy, we started to make up our own rules. The games allowed you to revive your teammates within 30 seconds if they got shot. So we would purposely shoot at each other to go down and then rush to each other's aid and administer first aid in the video game like we would do on the real battlefield. We never once let each other die in those video games. Sydney let me in on a little secret her family had. They had a real gun in their house. I thought that was so cool because I had never played with one in real life. When she told me, we immediately began searching the type of gun on my phone so we could learn as much as we could about it. Real soldiers have to know their guns before they can go out onto the battlefield. We decided we couldn't wait until we were real soldiers to officially become sisters, so we decided that the real gun would make it official instead. On August 18th, I went over to Sydney's, and neither her parents or Danny were home, so she got the code out of the safe. We worked together like a team to open the safe and took the gun to the living room. We decided to use the gun just like in the video games. We would point it at each other, unload it of course, we checked, and pull the trigger yelling bang. So when we were done pretending to be the bad guy, the other was supposed to fall down and pretend to be hurt so we could rush over and pretend to revive him, just like we did in the games. Once we both saved each other, we were supposed to officially be sisters. That's how we looked at it anyway. Sydney went first, and when I pretended to follow her, she rushed over and saved me within 30 seconds. Then it was my turn. I spun the revolver like Sydney had and pointed at her, but when I pulled the trigger and yelled bang, the gun actually went off. I don't know how it was possible because we both checked and we never saw any bullets inside the gun. I was so scared when the gun went off. I jumped back, but when Sydney fell over, I realized she wasn't playing anymore. There was so much blood and I was too scared to move. It was an accident and I wish it had never happened. I never meant to hurt Sydney. She was my best friend and I miss her every single day. What was even harder than losing Sydney is the fact that some people actually think I meant to hurt her, but that was never my intention. Nobody would ever want to hurt their family.